Hi everybody, it's Lyn from Lyn's Craft Designs, and first of all, I'm gonna apologize if this part doesn't match the end part. I'm gonna try it again. I've tried to film this video several times. I've got some, let me show you the better part. I've got some amazing casting resin. This is the part B. And it has somehow been contaminated with water, but it really doesn't matter. It still works just fine. So I'm gonna mix up 4 drams, 2 drams of the A and 2 drams of the B. Now, before I do that, this is the one that I tried to film. And for this one, I did the first part and just partially filled the mold, and then I did the second part and dyed it the blue. So this one I'm going to do a totally different mold, and we'll just see how much I can fill up with the 4 drams. So I'm gonna do 2 of part B. Oh, come on. This lid does not want to go back on. And just a little tip, never screw your lids all the way back on, because they will resin themselves back down and be a booger to get back off. So if you're going to color the resin, start with your part B and color the part B. Mix it up and then add your part A. But in this case, I'm not going to color it this time. So sorry y'all missed all that coloring and fun stuff I did before, but I will eventually get it sorted out, I promise. Alright, I'll mix it. It will turn cloudy when I first start to mix, then it will turn clear. Although this resin cures white, and it will cure in less than 20 minutes. I say 20 minutes because it just depends on where you're at. It depends on where you're, or it depends on your temperature and stuff like that. I'm here in Texas where it's really warm, so it cures really fast. I'm going to turn my stick perpendicular to the cup to give me a nice pouring stream. Now, the only reason I'm doing this one instead of the one I already did is because this one is a Prima mold. The other one was a Prima mold, but was one of those Prima and IOD molds, so it's no longer available. And I looked everywhere. Okay, that 4 drams filled it up completely. Who would have known? So, this cures really, really fast. But instead of making you wait here the 10 minutes or whatever that it'll take, I'll be right back. Okay, I just came back in between just to show you. It literally, this has been like 2 minutes. And where the resin is thicker, it will start to cure first. Where it is thinner, it will take a little longer. So you could literally sit here and watch this continue to turn. So again, I'll be right back. Okay, it has been like 10 minutes. It's all turned white. The way you can check and see if it's ready to demold is it's not sticky on the back. So I will pop it loose from the mold. Sorry about that. And remove it, and you can see it's very flexible. So just like with these, what I did was I wrapped it around an aluminum can, and then I put blue painter's tape around it several times because it won't stick to the resin, but it will stick to itself. So I would just, let me grab a can. Just grabbed a can, wrapped it around, and then I put blue painter's tape around it. Alright, then just let it set a couple hours to overnight. That's what I did. And then take it off, and it will be in the shape of a bracelet. Okay. Like I said, these are really flexible. You could use them on whatever you want, really. Now this one in particular is a piece of trim, so I'm just going to use it flat, but just for instance, just remember that it stays flexible and will harden into the shape that you give it. Okay? On with the rest of the video. Okay, I've got this bracelet blank, and I'm gonna add a couple of jump rings to the closure ends so that I can not necessarily do something like this toggle clasp, but just so that I can connect them together. I've got really small wrists, so for me this is a much better size than, let's say, this one is. This one is pretty large on me. So you could do both sizes. Give this one away to a friend. Keep this one. Or give this one away to a friend and keep this one. So I've got some of this epoxy sculpt. It's a resin product that will set up really hard in like 24 hours. So you gotta have time on your hands for this one. But if I tried to do it with polymer clay, this would work with polymer clay. I could stick this back in the oven. But the thing is, the polymer clay and the resin, because of the slick surface of the resin, it will want to pop right back off. Don't ask me how I know. So, I'm going to mix up this 2-part epoxy resin, and then put these already baked hearts over these jump rings. Okay? So you just want to mix them together until they're one solid color. You've got time. It says you've got about 2 hours working time. This can be sanded, it can be drilled, you know, basically just like the resin can. I find mixing it is the hardest part. It's a little sticky, not overly sticky, but it says you may want to wear gloves. But you know, I never follow the rules. I'll be back when this is mixed. Okay, there it's thoroughly mixed. And I'm just gonna pinch off enough that I can form 2 little pads, if you want to call them, underneath the hearts. There we go. Okay. Just want it thick enough that when I press it into the resin bracelet, that it will, a little bit will squeeze out, just so that I know it makes contact. Now, these jump rings are soldered closed, so that's why I've chosen to use them. Because other than that, they're really not much help. Okay? So I'm just gonna position, I really hope you can see this, that heart where the jump ring hangs off the edge, so to speak. Now, I know this epoxy sculpt isn't necessarily pretty, but it can be painted as well. Okay? So, the next one is actually maybe a little too much. Okay, that one actually looks a little better. Now, I'll just set this aside and let it cure overnight. And then I'll give it a little paint. And use a couple of more jump rings just to secure it closed. And this will be perfect for my wrist. Okay? So I'll be back tomorrow to join it together. And I'll show you the results. Okay. Now these are pretty much set. I'll probably go back and paint them just to kind of blend in with the inside of the bracelet. But for now, I'm just going to connect it with a couple of jump rings. Remember, twist one away from you and one towards you. And to close it, do the same thing in reverse. I'll try to stick my fingernail in between the gap. If it doesn't go in, then it's closed properly. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the previous jump ring. Then I'm going to grab, well, this time I'm going to use 3 jump rings. Sometimes they will be a little bit I'm gonna say more closely closed, more closely squeezed together, the bracelets will. This one was a little further apart, so the jump rings didn't want to meet. But that is a perfect closure. It's not too big, it's not too small. We'll only ride up a couple of inches. That is just about perfect. I love it. So, there you go. If you want to make your own bracelets out of resin, the amazing casting resin is the perfect resin for choice. A little bit of dye in the second pouring really gave it that pop. So there you go. Please like, share, and subscribe. The links for all the products and for my social media will be listed below. I've got an Etsy shop where I have all my jewelry listed. I've got an Amazon shop where I've got several polymer clay products. I'll be adding more all the time. Bye for now.